Hello, and welcome to Nurtural Disasters. This is a podcast for those of us with toxic or emotionally immature parents. We might not have a bunch of credentials next to our names, but we do have PhDs from the Hard Knocks University. Basically, we want this to be a validating space for adult children of parents who had no business having children.
Welcome to Nurtural Disasters with Ken and Lisa. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Ken.
You know how we don't want to talk about celebrity news? Well, this one's not really like a celebrity news. I just find it interesting when really famous people also have problems with their parents.
Yeah, there's this clip that's been going viral online.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, you sent it to me and you said, have you seen this? And I'm like, because I had seen it and I was very surprised. It's Kathy Bates and she's accepting the Academy Award. And she's giving her this long speech. I want to thank this person. I want to thank my mom. I want to thank this. It cuts to like years later, maybe decades later. She's being interviewed and they ask her about the speech. And she's like, I wish I had thanked my mother. And my mother gave me a lot of grief for it and this. And the interview actually tells her, you did. And she goes, I did? And shows it to her. Kathy, you could see that she has this emotional reaction because she realizes her mom guilted her. And it kind of opened up this discussion about gaslighting. And I'm so glad when I read the comments, people were spot on about this is gaslighting and this is exactly what narcissistic parents do. And the fact that people have this knowledge, holy shit, it's so powerful to me. Gaslighting has affected me a lot. I was gaslight to hell when I was growing up. And when you sent it to me, I was like, yes, I thank you for that because I had dissected it. But tell me what you think, Ken. What was your reaction?
Yeah, so the background is I've been watching Kathy Bates for years. She's been in a lot of movies, and I really enjoy her as an actress. And she's recently been on the show called Matlock, which is kind of like a new spin on the classic show Matlock.
Yes, I love that show. She's great. I love it. Yes.
The thing is, I remember one of the first movies I ever watched with Kathy Bates that I really loved her in is she played that socialite in Titanic. And I think like after I became like an adult, like I will look up Kathy Bates movie. And the thing is, like you go deep. It was like, what was Kathy Bates known for? And of course, it was 1991. She had a movie called Misery that she was nominated for Oscar for. I think it was with
It's Stephen King. It's a Stephen King novel.
I think it was her, and I think it was James Caan. So anybody that have not watched that movie, it's pretty much a crazy fan of this writer.
Mm-hmm.
And he ends up there and she's obsessed with him, just obsessed with the story as well. And she pretty much keeps him captive there to write the story while she's keeping post on him. So it's a very really kind of psychological thriller, and you could really see what happens when fandom kind of goes too far.
It's like Stan, like the Eminem music video, Stan.
Yeah, it's that obsession of the fandom. It's that's why they call it a fanatic. So this is epitome of that. I felt like her performance in that, just showing off like her range of having someone that's very deeply troubled, but also admiring someone, but also being very angry at them at the same time for not giving her what she wants. She was nominated for Best Actress in that movie in 91. The clip I show you was during a kind of like a press junket for Matlock. She did it on CBS Sunday mornings. It was a short little interview that she did, and they were asking her about Matlock. And then the thing about the Oscars came up, about that 91 Oscar ceremony where she gives that speech. She ends up winning Best Actress. And so what Kathy Bates pretty much says, quote, "When I won the Oscars for Misery, she said, I don't know what all the excitement is about. You didn't discover the cure for cancer." When she said that, it was about her mom. So when she won the award, the mom was pretty much very dismissive of her winning the Oscars. Like, oh, you won the Oscars? Not like you cure cancer. I don't know what the big deal is. By the way, as an actress, probably one of the hugest accomplishments you could have. There have been actresses and actors that have been great that have never held that trophy. That's how much of an honor it is to win an Oscar. That's confirmation that you, at least for one movie, you were absolutely magnificent. She continues on to the interview and she talks to the interviewer, oh, I forgot to thank her that night. So he's like, yes, you did. He plays back a clip, maybe like a 10 to 15-second clip, and she thanks everybody, and she thanks her mom, and then she thanks her dad, and then after she said she thanks her dad, she has this weird look on her face, and she's like, "Oh my god, I did thank her. She misremembered." So she pretty much she cries, and then the interviewer asks, "Is like how? Why does that mean so much to you?" And she's like her life was supposed to be like my mom is supposed to have my life. And when I watched it, I was like, wow, that's and it's hard. It's a very hard clip to watch. And if you read some of the comments, it really does seem that a lot of people do understand this kind of dynamic. It's definitely more of a public kind of knowledge. People saw it for what it was. It's like, man, what did her mom say or do to her? To have someone that's the best actress at that time, to have the mothers pretty much discount everything she said, like everything she like did in that movie, everything she said it on her acceptance speech, and you just look at it, it was like, man, her mom did a number on her.
Yeah. Guess what's interesting? I just looked it up. This movie was directed by Rob Reiner. So considering what just happened recently with his, that is crazy.
Yeah, and a lot of things just kind of like intermeshed together. You know what? Interesting that her mom said that. I don't know what the big deal is. You didn't discover the cure to cancer. It was I couldn't find much concrete information, but I did hear that her mom did pass away from cancer. Ironically, right?
No
And
way.
I think Kathy herself was fighting through ovarian cancer for quite a while.
Oh my God.
So, but the thing is, remember this is a conversation we had like a couple episodes ago. Remember it was like the thing about Abraham Lincoln? Oh, you could be president, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's the big deal? It's not like you're God. It's kind of like that. It's like, at what point do the goalposts stop moving for your parent?
Yeah.
Because
For narcissistic parents, nothing is ever good enough. I mean, yeah, exactly. You were saying.
yeah, and if you look into it, her mom passed away in 97. What I found that was very interesting, even Kathy has stated this, like her mom had her when she was 48. She was a late, like, oopsie baby. We were talking about oopsie babies before. She was actually a oopsie baby.
That's late for especially back then.
And I also think, especially for a woman, that's late.
Yeah, oh
But
yeah.
I'm just thinking, how old school is their mother? And I know, especially in my situation, my dad had me when he was in his early 40s. As a parent, you're just not very engaged anymore at that point. Like even if you had kids before, you don't treat the oopsie baby the same way anymore because you're in your 40s. You're not taking your kid out for like rides on a bike or something like that and throwing a football. I'm thinking that's probably what happened. It's just, man, how could you look at your daughter who has that much talent and that's the thing you say to her when she wins the Oscars? This is just batshit insane.
Hmm.
Totally dismissive.
You know, we were talking about this earlier. Narcissistic parents, they will compete with you, their own children. I mean, to the average person, they can't even fathom, like, why would I compete with my own child? I want them to surpass me. I want them to do better than I did. But they see their own children as competition. Like, they just, unless you've lived it, you don't understand it.
Yeah. The main problem comes when the kid actually does surpass the parent, and that's when it goes really bad.
They're your, like what the kids say, they're your biggest op.
Yeah.
If you have a narcissistic parent, yep.
And you know what the sad part is, you see it, and it's like you can see Kathy Bates as kind of like the archetype of that kid that had a narcissistic parent, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You hold that trophy, it's like, I finally got it. My mom's finally gonna be finally really glad about this and be proud of me. Nope, she didn't get that. She's like, not like you're a doctor curing cancer. That upset me more than anything you could think of because it just reminds me of my situation with my dad. And I'm pretty sure you had situations for your mom that's like that. What do I have to do in order for you to be proud of me and give me a kudos?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not winning an Oscar. I mean, Lisa, you're probably not winning an Oscar even with your British accent, but it's like, hey,
What are you saying? Oh my God, that hurts my feelings.
we
What?
haven't brought back the British accent in quite a while. It's
Well,
been a long time.
I have to bring it back so I can win my Oscar. I mean, I could be the Kathy Bates, you know. I don't think I'll ever be as good as her, but she's phenomenal.
She didn't have a British accent in Titanic, did she? I don't think so, but you know.
No, but she did like have like kind of like a, it was an accent, but she was like,
You know what it is?
is it high society woman where it's kind of
Yeah, she had
uppity,
a
like,
she had that
Uppity.
that transatlantic speaking style that was very popular with people. Like it's kind of
Uh,
like people, especially actresses in the 40s and 50s. They had that very. It doesn't sound like British English, but it's obviously not very American English either. It sounds very different.
yeah. Well, it's like, is this the first class version?
It's
Is this
I
thingy
think
first
they call it
class?
the transatlantic thing. I could ask my fiance; she's really interested in that. So it's like, okay, it's very
Okay.
interesting when people have that's how actors and actresses sounded like, especially in golden age Hollywood. So I always
Yeah.
find it interesting.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about 'cause, like, even when you hear, Marilyn Monroe and you watch those movies from back in the, no, 50s and 60s, it's like, did she really sound like that? It would everybody spoke that way, but the for Titanic, Kathy Bates, her character in Titanic was like she was very, status conscious, very snobby, and I remember, like, Kate Winslet being like, "Mother, you're gonna get a nosebleed," and everyone in the theater was like, I was pretty young. It was '97, right? So I was oh, yeah, I was a little girl, but I could hear the the audible gasp. But it's just like, "No, is this thingy gonna be first class? Is there gonna be" because it's supposed to be women and children. "Will this
Mhm.
be first class?" Like, I was like, "Calm down." It's fucking sinking. But,
Do you know Kathy Bates wasn't the mother, right?
she was not the mom? What was she?
No, no, no. She was the socialite that was very okay with just how other people were.
Oh my god, I'm confusing her. Oh my god, I'm
Like
gonna cut this out.
she was the socialite. I think she.
Oh my god. Oh my
You're
god, I'm gonna
thinking,
cut this out.
yeah,
I'm confusing.
you're thinking the mother.
So embarrassing.
I don't remember.
And it's fucked up because I've seen this movie so many fucking times.
You
So for me to
misremembered.
I
Like
do miss it's been, like, literally it's been decades since I've seen it, but I've seen it both.
you
Oh my god.
misremembered because you pulled a Kathy Bates. Like Kathy Bates literally thanked her mother
Oh
during
my
that
god.
interview and did not realize it.
Yeah.
She plays Molly Brown, a kind-hearted new money socialite. And because
Oh,
she's new money, she doesn't look down on poor people.
okay.
Socialite
Whatever.
who befriends Jack and later other Lifeboat 6 survivors.
I think Kathy Bates is great. I did take one acting class once, like, years ago. It was just for fun, and I remember it was my turn to go up, and I was so nervous, and you have to do this back and forth. There's no direction of, like, do it this way, do it that way, and I did it, and right before, like, the day before, I got into a huge fight with my brother, and I said, "Why?" And then it just it kept going back, like, I felt like not interrogated, but it kept to the point where I just literally just started bawling, and I was crying, and I was tearing-eyed, and everyone in the class got really quiet, and the instructor was like it was the end of my scene, and he was saying, all of my clients, because he was a manager, it's like, all of my clients, the reason if they're really good is because they're broken people. And I was like, okay, great, I'm a broken person. And he told me, he's like, "You're dangerous." And people, like, in the class were saying, "Oh my god, that was intense." Like, everyone else up to them was, like, kind of playing along, but for me, it was real. And then I just wonder, actors who are they can just reach that vulnerability because I felt so vulnerable at the time, but it just came out because I just been stuffing this feeling and it just came out. And I just, at that time, I don't know why, and actors who can just reach that level of vulnerability and for him to say it's because they're broken, you know? And I could see that with Kathy Bates, with her mom being a narcissist and being so constantly pushed and never being good enough. I can see where she can just so easily tap into those emotions. And because it's right there and you always have to suppress it when you have a narcissistic parent because your needs are always subjugated. And acting probably gave her a chance to express it and let it out and it be super cathartic, in my opinion. And I think that's what makes her such an amazing actress.
Yeah, it's truly feeding upon that pain that you have when you're acting. You're taking. They always say as an acting technique is to take whatever kind of past history you've had and try to put it into the scene. In
Yeah,
terms of
method acting.
even method acting. Yeah. So what I always hear about is that stand-up comedians are usually the most broken people.
Yes, they are.
There are people that somehow find humor in anything and everything. And a lot of the times it's because they've lived such hard lives or kind of like emotionally rough lives and just kind of had trauma. And they somehow, it's like a perverse thing where the more you suffer in your life, it makes for a better stand-up comedian. Even not even just a stand-up comedian or actor, even a musician. It's insane that how that is. It just that pain that you feel turns into art.
Mhm.
And I think it really is something that the more trials and tribulation you have, it just makes it conducive for someone to make incredible art out of it.
Yes, and, when you were talking about comedians, there's a saying, it's not yes, they are a lot of them are depressed, but it's like, "Don't ask me if I'm depressed." Actually, my parents were the ones who were depressed, so they developed that skill. Even yeah, even Lisa Lampanelli, I remember years ago when she was being interviewed, and other comedians have basically confirmed it. It's like their parents were depressed, so they became like the court jester of the family as a way to alleviate the feeling.
Yeah, it's also a coping mechanism too. I think that's why we joke around with each other so much, Lisa. It's like a coping mechanism. It's
Mhm. Yeah.
people that are just sometimes just kind of like just pointlessly like humorous or funny is just, I really think it's sometimes it's like for people that have gone through trauma and something like that and just had hard moments in their life. Sometimes you just want a lighthearted moment. I just feel like people that are comedians really want that for other people. It's they find joy that what they have to say that someone finds funny, that it actually makes, because it's the idea that making someone laugh, that's a huge thing. That's a huge accomplishment to be able to make someone laugh and be feel entertained.
Mhm.
And I feel comedians is they have a skill for that, and it's also their kind of coping mechanism. So when they go on stage after years of like honing their craft, just
Mhm.
getting the perfect stand-up routine, dealing with hecklers, trying to put the perfect joke and then try testing it over and over and over again. They're going up there and it's like therapy for them. I think some comedians have said it as such. You just go up there, try to say something funny, try to tell like a story that has a nice punchline. That's really a thing, especially with stand-up comedians that are like like smaller stand-up comedians. They go to small clubs and they're just working on their stuff. It's just like it's having a therapist. They'll probably get a therapist once they make it, right? They'll have money.
Yeah, they can afford it.
Yeah, therapy is not cheap. So, but
It
until then,
yeah.
let's try to do some stand up, and that's why you do always hear about stand up comedians either doing a lot of antidepressants or some sort of other illicit drugs, or they're alcoholics. It's
Yep.
really it's a plight of people that are broken, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about the hecklers. I think
Mhm.
their first hecklers were their family.
Mhm.
They probably had their family as hecklers their entire life, but they continued. So by the time they get to the stage, there it probably some there's some, like, those amateur comedians, and you see
Mhm.
them on amateur night, and they handle those hecklers like fucking professionals, and you're like, "Oh, they've been doing this shit forever." And it's like, "Oh, their parents were probably their very first hecklers." And then they make it big because everything just rolls off their back because 'cause they're just so fucking used to it. I could see, with Chris Rock being like that, a lot of comedians. I read George Carlin's book, it's funny, When Will Jesus Bring the Pork Chops? And, his family was fucked up, he was fucked up, even fucked up with his own daughter. He even says it in his book, but he was so brilliant, the most brilliant mind, and he's my favorite comedian. Stuff that was from the '70s, '80s, '90s, completely relevant nowadays. I mean, you could just quote him right now and be like, "Oh, that totally, it's words of wisdom." But, he had a lot of drug issues, and, it all stemmed back to his fucked up parents, his fucked up family. You can always circle right back, like you were saying, Ken.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's where you find the most laughter is growing out of like very broken people that have been broken down for years. But the thing is, it really is, it makes you more kind of callous, or you grow calluses, right? The more you do something, things that used to offend you before that your parents say to you, it just becomes less and less after a while. And you're looking at it and people that are heckling you, it's like at a certain point, what this person is saying is not worse than what my mom or dad said to me, which is sad, but it's like I'm geared for this. It's by the way, I hate hecklers. I don't know why someone would want to go to a comedy show to try to mess up the comedian and try to be a comedian themselves.
I know.
I hate it.
Me too. I love watching stand-up comedy. I love, like, those roasts on Comedy Central back in the day, but now it's, like,
Mhm.
on Netflix. That I love watching, or going seeing it live in person, even if it's amateur stuff, not all of it is good, I'll say that, but to have that, like, I still appreciate their courage to go up there and public speak. Like, I don't have the courage to do that. I was so fucking nervous and scared, so
Yeah. Yeah, I remember there was one time where I was on Sunset and one of my buddies had an open mic night and I think it's in Silver Lake. I think it's called Los Globos. But yeah, I don't remember
Los
the name of the
Lobos? Los Lobos?
Globos?
Globos. Los
Yeah.
Globos.
Yeah, so it's
The
like
balloons, yeah.
yeah, so they would have open mic night every now and then. He went up there, he's a musician, so musicians do what they do. And then there was another guy that walks up stage, and we're all in a group of people, and I've never met his friends before, right? So I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And this stand-up comedian goes up, and it's obviously like he's just starting out, right? It's open mic night. He goes up there, and this girl sitting across the table from me that my friend knows is heckling him the whole time, and I'm like so embarrassed, right? And you know what? At that point, I was like a fan of stand-up comedians. I was like, what a hard job, and
Mhm.
what a great service you do to people just to have them have a fun night, right? It's a hard thing to be a stand-up comedian. Like you said, you just go up there, you're gonna bomb, but you go up there anyway, and you're just going at it. It's like I don't care. I don't care if I bomb, I bomb. I just like I have to have thick skin. And the thing is, she's heckling him, and I'm like, what are you doing? And you know what? I didn't do it, but a small part of my brain was like, I'm gonna reach over and backhand her face. That's what I was thinking the whole
Mm,
time. The second thing I thought I was gonna do was I'm gonna go up on stage and I'm really good. I'm really sharp with my
mhm.
comebacks. So I was like, I probably would have insulted her, her mom, her sexual background. I hate hecklers. People pay a 2 drink minimum and cover charge to watch a stand-up comedian tell jokes, not to have some drunk man or woman slur their way into a witty comeback.
You know what I think what it is, Ken? Knowing you, you don't like bullies.
I really don't. I really
I know.
don't.
I know.
I feel so bad for people when they get picked on, and you know what? It's because there's also a point where I'm like, I was bullied myself. It wasn't constant. There's definitely kids that have been bullied way worse than I was. So whenever I see someone just being picked on, and like you could tell they might be asking for like help by not asking for help, it's like I have to step in. I can't. So if I see someone doing that, like I can't stand by. It hurts. It hurts me
Mhm.
to even look at it.
Yeah. You have a lot of empathy. So for you to, the fact that you would step in and point out the injustice, it says a lot about your character.
Well, thank you for saying that. But it's also sometimes it's like, well, don't want to get political again, but someone did say that empathy is a weakness. It is not. To me, it's like a superpower. It's what gives you humanity. Some people don't have empathy. I was like, how you find satisfaction in your life? Buy another car, go on
Oh,
another trip. You'll never feel satisfied. I feel like
did Elon Musk say that? Or was it Trump?
I don't know. That's why a lot of the thing is, it's a lot of the people that are super wealthy. What's your end goal and what makes you happy? It's not easy as a question as they could answer. It doesn't seem like a lot of things make them happy. They're just not satisfied. That's why they always said like, oh yeah, sometimes maybe like a peasant somewhere
Mhm,
living or someone that's really poor living in India
mhm.
that has, you know what? I'm having fun. I'm with my friends. I don't know how I'm going to get my next meal, but it's just the expectation's different. Certain things that that person might get will make that person happy and make them satisfied. And it's really like the more stuff you have, it makes it harder to be satisfied, I think.
I see what you're saying. I think lack of empathy makes you really good in the realm is the business realm, right?
Yes. Yes, like success.
You can climb up the corporate ladder so fucking fast.
Not only that, to also be an influencer and stuff like that because you have to really shut off that part of your personality.
But think about it though. Our parents did not have empathy. So they did not develop that part of that connection. So If you're not connecting with your own children, you're not connecting with your family members, you're not connecting with friends, if you don't have empathy, you're not having that close connection. Everything is just material, like you were saying. Okay, but what is life about? Life is it all about money? Okay, if that's what your end goal is. If you can't be close to your own children, let's say you don't want children, family members, friends, if you don't have empathy, you're not gonna have that connection with people. So all your relationships are tenuous. Okay, then you have no relationships with people, but you have relationships with what stuff? That's life for me. A life without empathy, it seems so empty.
It does. To me, having empathy is you kind of feel the joy and pain of someone else. It doesn't even have to be a human. It could be an animal. It could be your pet. And you just have that. And some people might say it's like, oh, what a terrible thing to be crying over a death of like a family pet or something like that. And I always think, what a privilege to have feelings and be human. What a privilege. What a privilege to have a connection to someone, another being, and just be like, you know what? If this something bad happened to this person, cat, dog, rabbit, I'm gonna feel really terrible. And you know what? When you cry when someone you love passes away, it really is like it's something that you're like, man, I really am gonna miss that person. That person has a compartment in your life like that. You that's just something sometimes you never get back, and you just it hurts. And that hurt is actually that's like a good type of hurt, I think, to know that you have empathy and you kind of have fallen in love with something, and then the thing you love disappears and is not through the fault of your own or that other person. It just happens, just as how life is. What I want to ask is, I'm not sure if you have a tidbit about this, Lisa, is how do kids that have parents that seemingly lack this kind of like empathy or kind of maybe stunted in a certain way have kids that are like fully empathetic towards others?
That is such a good question. That is a really, really, really good question. And I don't know if it comes down to like temperament because they were never taught empathy, right? We talked about this in another episode where it was like empathy needs to be taught to you. And if both of your parents don't have empathy, how do you build that? How, because it was not modeled for you. But at the same time, I'm wondering if there's an innateness to it because when I see another person hurting, when another person cries, I can't help but cry. When I see animals hurting, oh my God, I can't take it. I was like, oh no, I feel what they feel. Another thing is like, if you see a person yawn and you yawn, oh, it's contagious. But if somebody is a cluster B personality disorder, narcissism, psychopathy, sociopathy, whatever, when they see someone else yawn, they will not yawn. I don't know if it's an innateness, but it's just such a hard thing to. How do you develop that when it was never modeled to you? Is it innate? I don't know. And I wish I had an answer for you. Honestly, I really do because it's something that we probably should look into, and maybe in the next episode we can talk about it because it seems like it would be a good topic of interest.
Well, it's pretty much like the theme of our title, right? Nurture versus nature.
Yeah, exactly.
Somehow we've come across other people in our lives that have maybe sometimes even like another parent or another family member that maybe gives us like a pathway. It's like, oh yeah, empathy, feeling, emotion. You don't necessarily have to get that all from your parents. That's why like socialization of children is so important, right? You might find it from a friend. Heck, you might find it from a friend's parent, and you just realize their dynamic is like, I don't understand that. Could you give me more of that? Because I remember my god sister, her mom was like so sweet, and me and my sister will always think, how come our parents can't be like that?
Mm.
And
Yeah.
it's just that there are parents that are out there. They're just like, wow, you're just a pleasure to be around. That the kids are just here just to hang out with you. There are parents that are like that. I don't. My parent, well, not from me. They're not getting that from me. I can't stand hanging out with my dad anymore.
Hmm.
It's just but just knowing that it's out there, and sometimes I feel this really intense envy that I have friends that, man, your parents seem really nice to be around, and they're like,
Hmm.
yeah, they are. I'm like, how's that like?
I I could totally relate. Yeah, I don't, Dr. Rami, when she said, if your parent was a narcissist, you were robbed.
Mm-hmm.
She said it. It was like fucking knife through my heart. Like I was like, oh my God, my God.
Okay. Is it just me, or have you ever tried this when you were growing up? Like you go over to a friend's house and you meet their parents and you're like, you get a little kind of feel, you kind of see them for a while, so you know them a little bit, and you're like, can you please adopt me? No, no, really, adopt me? Don't you got parents? I was like, oh, no, they're fine. I think they kidnapped me from somewhere. They're not my real parents.
Yeah.
Oh, oh. Here's a funny thing and sad thing at the same time. So a lot of kids that grow up from the motherland of like Asian countries, right? There's always this running story of how it's kind of like the storks, the stork bait and the baby, how the stork delivers a kid to your parents' doorstep, and that's how babies come from. What Asian people do is usually they say, we were walking somewhere and we found you in a dumpster. You were a dumpster baby. Or you were somewhere and we picked you up. We thought you were cute, so we raised you as our own. And I don't know where that started. Maybe I'll research it one day. But that's always like a kind of like a go-to story for like Asian parents. And I kid you not, I knew it was bullcrap as soon as like I got older and older, probably like pre-teenage. I knew it was bullcrap. I look like mom and dad. I'm pretty sure I'm their kid. But the sad part is there was a little part of me that really wanted my real parents to come back and save me.
Oh my God.
I'm like, my real parents are out there. Eventually, they're going to find me. Eventually, they'll know that they accidentally left me somewhere. And then my real parents will come by and then I can finally leave this place. And they never came.
That's a real thing.
Yeah.
Very real, because I was talking to a friend years ago. She was a coworker, but we're friends now, and she had a very difficult childhood, very difficult father. And she told me that. She said, growing up, I thought everything I'm going through is a test because I'm really a princess. And if I go through enough challenges, then I will go back and be saved and go back to this magical kingdom where I'm the princess of this great family. And when she said that, I'd actually forgotten that I used to think the same thing growing up, where it's like, I'm being put through all these challenges and tests because I'm not really here. Maybe, what if I'm really just like a princess and I deserve to be from a loving, rich family? It's so weird to think about it, but I now know that's actually very common for people who come from really, really difficult parents and childhoods and families, that they think, okay, someone's going to come and save me. And whatever it is.
That's so sad to think, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
you're kind of looking for that savior.
Mm-hmm.
And as you know, it's not true, but you want to hold on to that for some reason, for that savior or for that moment. I just remember that there came a point where I looked in the mirror. I think I was a teenager. I looked in the mirror and I'm like, I look just like mom and dad. I'm pretty sure I'm not adopted. And it's just like that whole hope just fell apart. Like reality just set in and be like, well,
oh my God.
I'm not getting saved. I'm pretty sure this is it.
Oh no.
and plus now we're like, oh, like, happy birthday, Lisa. I know it's your birthday. It's 25 part 16 or something like that, or somewhere like that. But happy birthday. Unfortunately, your real parents will never find you.
I've accepted it. Yeah.
Some part of you just accepted. It was like, Dad, I guess these are my real parents. Yippee!
Yeah, right. Great. Look at me.
It's okay. Just think about it as I took one for the team, with the team being the entire Earth. I had these parents, so none of you could have these parents. You owe me one.
Sure.
That is a funny thought, though. It's like, man, I wish my real parents would show up right now. Burst through the door. Hello? Can we have Fred back? I'm like, who's Fred? Our little baby. We left him in the dumpster somewhere. He's named Ken now. Oh, Ken? He's our little Fred. So it's like something that was like, it's like Tarzan, really. It's like, I think I watched Tarzan when I was young. I was like, okay, this has to be a thing, right? My family's gonna find me once I become like an adult. And they'll be like, you're our son. I'm like, that never came. I never became Tarzan. And I never found my savior parents.
It's like Anastasia, too.
Yeah, yeah. That's unfortunate. This is so sad. It's just like, oh man, it seems like other people have gone through the same story too. It's like it's a very that's how you know it didn't go right growing up.
No, yeah, and we grew up being super fucking gaslit too, which is unfortunate.
I know. But you know what the perfect prank will be on us? Like if anybody listens to us and like anybody that knows us, they would hire like a couple, probably boomer age, and be like, "We lost our son at this time. We know you're our son or daughter." And just go along with it for a while and just be like, haha, it's a gag. Like I'll be so mad, but got me, brother.
What?
No. Like they hire actors to be our like real parents,
Mhm.
giving us that little sliver of chance.
Maybe.
Yeah, I probably won't believe it too. I look exactly like my parents.
Yeah, it's funny because that was my cousin's, wedding a couple months ago in Mexico City, and my cousin's mom, she goes, "Oh, you look like your mom," and I go, "Oh, you can see the evilness in my face?" And she goes, "No, that's not what I'm saying, no," like and I'm like then she gets quiet and I go, "Oh, you can see the evilness in my face." Like, I was just pushing and pushing, because I don't know what her relationship is with my mom, but I was just I don't give a fuck. Yeah, at this point, I didn't give a fuck, I'd had a few drinks. It was open bar. It was open bar, I'm not gonna lie. And it was a very nice wedding and beautiful venue in Mexico City. Oh my god. And for her to say that, I think it maybe triggered something in me for her to say that because people tell me that I do look like her and I do hate it. And I will say that. And sometimes I look in the mirror and I do see her and I do not like it. And it took me it was so embarrassing that it took me a while to, like, admit that, like, yes, I do have, like, some features of her, and I do hate it. But when someone points it out, I don't like it. So, like, my natural reaction was to say, "Oh, I'm an evil person," because I don't know how much she knows because she lives in a completely different state that's, like, south of Mexico City. So it's, like, 2, 3 hours south of Mexico City in a different state, and when she said that, I said that, and also, I didn't really like her. Okay, fuck, I don't maybe I should not say that because in case she's listening, but, like oh, she doesn't speak English, so that's fuck it, and her son does. He's bilingual, but, I don't know, and then I found out that, like, he stopped talking to her for a little bit because when she divorced she left her dad for, like, another guy, and I was like when I found out, "Oh, yeah, he just didn't talk to her," and I was like, "Oh, okay, good for me," and, like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know that." But so and she kinda gave me a bad vibe because she's the type of person, like, looks at you and he goes smiles, and as soon as they look away, the smile, like, turns into a frown. Like, you've seen Melania Trump's video of, like, Donald looks back at Melania, and she has this big smile on her big fake smile, and as soon as he turns his head forward, her smile turns into, like, an angry frown. Like, that's
Fake, fake, fake,
her.
fake, 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 fake.
Fake AF. So she just kept doing that, and it just gave me that vibe of like and very status conscious too on top of that. And it's like, "What do you do for a living?" Like, pressing you on like, "What do you do for a living? How much money you make?" Like, that type of thing, which is not very common in Mexico. In Mexico, they don't lead with like, what you do for a living, how much money you make. That's an American thing, actually. And I know Europeans make fun of Americans for being like super status conscious, you know? You're basically asking them what their social status is. So for her to do that, it's not normal. Usually it's like, oh, what kind of music do you listen to? What kind of food do you like? It's just different. It's not as even if you're like a doctor or lawyer, it's not as seen as like you're above me kind of a thing. So for her to do that, I knew she's a very status conscious person. And I don't think she's a bad person, but it was I'm like, it's just me, it's in my head, gaslighting myself, and then every picture I saw of her, she makes the face where it's like she has a smile, and then the next picture, it's like the smile is gone. Next picture, it's like, "Ah," and the next picture is like, no smile. I was like, "Oh, it's not me." And then I asked an other uncle about her. I'm like, "Hey, what about such and such? What's up with her?" "Oh, she's very insecure." And I was like, "I knew it. I knew it." And then he was telling me about her, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, that makes sense." I got this feeling, and it was confirmed, and yeah. But the fact that I have to constantly, like, confirm my feelings versus just trusting my own instincts, and that, again, like we were talking about gaslighting. I've been gaslit basically my entire life by my parents and especially my mom and her partner gaslighting the fuck out of me. That's how I know. I'm always second guessing myself. Constant, always guessing my own intuition. And I wish I was like other people. It's like, oh, I trusted my gut. And it's like, I can't trust my gut because I was trained not to. And I'm trying so hard to like come back into my body and not. And that's, I don't know if it's going to be like a lifetime situation for me. It's fucked up.
Well, it's kind of like that, we go back to the what we talked about earlier with Kathy Bates. At what point does your mind just warp in and out of reality where kind of sh- that number that was done to her, like she doesn't even know what's real anymore. Because if you get gaslit like all the time, you're really starting to question your perception of reality after a while. Like if you didn't know that someone was gaslighting you, you really think that maybe I was remembering it wrong or something like that. And I wish I knew more depth into that story with her and her mom. It could have been just like the mom was like, whatever, you didn't say anything about me in your speech. And maybe Kathy was just like, oh, maybe I didn't mention her in the speech. Maybe that's why she's mad at me. But all along, it wasn't that at all.
Hmm.
It was, you got an Oscar. You finally beat me. I don't like that.
That's my feelings too.
Yeah. So the only control her mom has is to make, you can never escape the lack of your parents' approval, even at that age.
And see how she self gaslights? She won that Academy Award at 42. I looked it up. So at 42 years old, you're a full grown adult and you're still
Hmm.
gaslighting yourself. And I'm very, the fact that I look back on my life and how many times I didn't pursue a lot of opportunities because I self gaslighted. I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think the constant, how much I missed out on because I self gaslighted and beating myself up over it. But the fact that she was 42, won an Oscar, and she still doubted herself. It's a testament to how the indoctrination, how they inculcated the gaslighting in childhood, what an impact it has on your adulthood. Because it really sets you up to fail. And it's so fucked up. When I was thinking back of my childhood and how I was gaslit, not just being told that I was too sensitive for just having normal reactions to being criticized and constantly invalidated and constantly being like name called, but other things that happened to me and how it impacted me as adulthood, and it still impacts me. How I just constantly second guess myself. Why can't I just, it's something I'm working through, and I just hope, it's weird. It's like I just hope I'm able to overcome it sometime in my adulthood. I don't want to be. People say, oh, it's a lifelong process, and I'm like, great, I have to deal with this shit for my entire life. It's like literally narcissistic parents. They set you up to fail.
The hope is, hopefully, on some aspects of your life, we might second guess ourselves, but the gaslighting from our parents don't work anymore. So it's just like one thing that we've kind of put to bed, right? We're kind of immune to it now from them. Of course, it kind of messes up just how our brain operates now, but you know what? Little victories here and there, not too bad. We're living normal lives. We have friends. We have loves. We enjoy life on the most part. So we have all that in spite of how we were raised.
Hmm.
So I guess it was bad, and now it's not so bad. We're gonna try to make it better, and hopefully, we have plenty of time to do that.
Yeah, I like that. But at the same time, people who do come from loving and supportive households, they do not have the struggles that we've had to go through because they had parents to insulate them from that, shelter them. They were encouraging, not constant criticism.
Yeah.
Um,
So just think about it as like a emotional handicap we have. We're kind of like people missing an arm and a leg, not physically, but like mentally. I think we are. We're emotionally kind of like mentally handicapped in a way.
mhm.
There's certain aspects that don't work normally because you've lived through this. There's some trauma there. Your brain got wired a certain way. To deconstruct all of that, it takes a while. I don't want to say like it's kind of like a disability, but it's definitely a hindrance, at least, to have this kind of like live under this kind of gaslighting and under this kind of like being raised by parents through this method.
Yeah. Yeah. And also I think it is a disservice if you don't recognize how it sets you back. Because if it's the whole if you could go back and tell yourself, give yourself advice, there's a lot of things I would tell myself. And, you know, even though I've distanced myself from my parents in one way or another, whether it's completely cut off or limited contact, whatever, I don't know. They're still stuck in there inside of me. And I'm self sabotaging. And I wish I didn't. And
It's because you know that inner critic. People always said, "Oh, it's like it's yourself. It's yourself that's the inner critic." It's like, it's I think it's actually your parents sometimes. Like that inner critic is pretty much mirroring what your parents used to say to you. Sometimes you do notice that it's like this person is very mean. My inner critic, very similar to how my parents were mean to me.
hmm
It puts doubts in your head and then like your low self-esteem and stuff like that. And you know, I remember there was a time where my mom complimented me, right? When she was still of sound mind. And I every time she complimented me when I was an adult, I would just look at her as like, "You joking?"
hmm
And she's like, "You're actually pretty good at whatever I was doing at the time." And I was like, "I don't believe you because you don't say this to me much, so I think you're kidding." And she's like, "How come you have such low self-esteem?" I was like, "Wait, what do you think?"
Duh.
If your parents don't compliment you, there's like overdoing it. I know that. But if your parents don't compliment, they do it once in a blue moon, even when you're doing pretty good stuff. When they compliment you, you're thinking, what the heck is going on? Why are you complimenting me for?
Yeah. Do you need money from me?
Exactly.
What? Yeah.
By the way, if you don't, yeah, you that's not a normal behavior. So why should I see it as normal behavior and
Yeah.
just not point attention to it?
It's sus, as the kids say. No cap.
Why do you have low self esteem? Jeez, I wonder why. It's
Gee.
almost like my parents never complimented me. Oh wait.
Yeah. I mean, they're ones who set up the foundation in you. It's funny because all these estrangement parents whose kids have been estranged from them. It's like I don't know why my kid would do that. They're ungrateful bastards. They're this. They're that. Like all the things that they say about them. Like who created that? You did. You fucking created that supposed quote unquote horrible person that you're criticizing.
Yep. Pruny's got to prune.
Oh my god. Yeah, we should invite her on the show.
I'd love to have her on the show.
Yeah, we should totally invite her. Send her. Are you gonna DM her? Be like,
Really love your work. Really love your work. Can you want to talk to us? We're a very small podcast at the moment, but we're gonna get bigger. We're not
Yeah.
Fox News or anything, but we'll get there.
Yeah, yeah.
Seriously, yeah. Abraham Lincoln never got a compliment from his dad.
Mm.
I swear that's probably what happened. He probably got. Now we could call it like a Kathy Bates. Like, yeah, your mom never complimented you, so now you doubt yourself.
It's weird. The only compliments she ever gave me was based on like my body. It was based on certain body parts that were like acceptable to her. Yeah, but she was very critical of like her own weight and my weight and
Yeah, yeah. Also, that my mom kind of did like something similar, where it's only like certain body parts she would say. But the thing is, it's even worse because she would like look at my nose. It's like, you have my nose, not your dad's nose. It's a nice nose. So like stuff like that.
Mm,
So it's like complimenting herself while complimenting you. You got my nose. Good for you.
yeah, good job.
You didn't end up with your dad's flat nose. I'm like, jury's still out that you are my real parents. Still- I was like, they'll find me one day, my real mom and dad.
Yeah. Maybe. My mom she has a severe body dysmorphia. She's had like tons of plastic surgery. And someone posted a photo like of her recently. She literally, it's gonna be so fucked up, and I know people are gonna be like really angry. But she looked horrible. I don't know if I send you. I'll even send you the picture.
Yeah, send me a picture. I'll see how it is. You could
It's
get my my reaction.
terrible. And it's funny because I sent it to my uncle who hates her because like she falsely accused him of molesting his daughter. And I said, "Oh my god, she needs to sue her plastic surgeon." I was being super petty. And he goes, "Oh my god, he needs to sue that surgeon because that's horrible. Like she looks terrible." And I think it's because with narcissists, part of their power is their looks, right? But once you get older, I mean, you're gonna lose your quote unquote conventional because conventionally, our society favors youth. It
Yes.
favors, yeah. So if you're not conventionally attractive, you will do anything and everything to hang on to that power. I mean, whether it's tons of plastic surgery, whatever, I could see her like grasping at straws. And let's just say, you ever seen that? You know what? We've all seen it, like horrible plastic surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wonder if that's going to be her, like in a few years. Like, it's like heady. It's like, it's almost there, you know?
Well, I'm thinking since you and you and your uncle kind of don't like her, maybe you should thank the plastic surgeon. Good job doing one for the world. Solid for the crew.
You fucked up her face.
You fucked up her face. Win one for the Gipper. Stuff like that.
Terrible. Terrible.
Should have a palate cleanser after all of the rough stuff we talked about this hour.
Yeah, I'll have another drink. Thank you for suggesting it.
Well, if you guys love this podcast, please subscribe. Please put on notifications, and we're on YouTube and all those great ones. Apple Podcasts, whatever. Bring those numbers up, hey?
Okay. Well, we'll see you next week. Bye, guys. Oh, you laugh.
I hear the bags in the background. Okay.
Oh shit. You hear the hefty bag going. Okay. Well, it humanizes me and stuff. Okay. Bye, Ken.
Bye, Lisa. Bye.